Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. I, Shalda Sharma, welcome you all at the YouTube channel of Shri Rama Bharti Public School. Today I'll start with the topic Computer Fundamentals. We are going to cover the relevant topics to the computer fundamentals. Like whenever we heard the topic computer fundamental, what are the things which comes into our mind when we hear this word? So we are going to cover these topics in this session. Let's start the session.
Today we'll start with the part 2 of chapter Fundamentals of Computer. We are going to discuss here the relevant topics to the fundamentals of the computer. Whenever we talk about the fundamentals of computer, what are the topics which directly strikes into our mind? So we are going to discuss those topics. So computers are available in various sizes and shapes, but they all have common components that work in the same manner. The essential components of the computer are hardware and software. In this session, we will learn about common computer terminology such as hardware, software, data, and network. Here we are going to discuss hardware. Hardware refers to all physical components of the computer. It includes all input devices, processing devices, storage devices, and output devices. The keyboard, mouse, motherboard, monitor, hard disk, cables, and printer are all examples of hardware. You use hardware to provide input to a computer, and you also to get the desired output. You use hardware to provide input to a computer and also to get the desired output. Here are the hardware devices. Here we have the speakers, keyboard, monitor, mouse, power supply board, case, DVD ROM drive, main board, CPU fan, RAM, VGA card, sound card, and the hard disk. Computer uses processing devices to work on the input data and generate the desired output. The most important processing device is the central processing unit. The CPU is the brain of the computer. It processes the input to perform calculations and produce output. What it does, it processes the input to perform calculations and produce output. Let's discuss about the motherboard. A motherboard is a large circuit board that connects input, output, and processing devices. What it does, it connects the input, output, and the processing devices. The motherboard circuits provide pathways that allows data to pass through these various components. Fine. The motherboard circuits provide pathways that allows the data to pass through these various components. It also contains chips that determine how, when, and where data can flow through the computer. It also contains chips that determine how, when, and where data can flow through the computer. Fine. Here are some more points about the motherboard. Depending on the task that you want your computer to perform, you can choose the appropriate hardware. What you can do, depending upon the task that you want your computer to perform, you can choose the appropriate hardware. For example, if you wanted to take printouts, you need to connect printer with your computer. If you wanted to scan the documents, you need a scanner attached with your computer. You can also use expansion cards such as video cards to add new feature or to enhance the performance of the computer. For example, initially you were using 4 GB internal RAM. Fine. You wanted to expand that. You can expand that RAM with more 2 GB or whatever you feel like. Okay, so you can expand that particular card so that the performance of your computer can be enhanced. Okay, all these devices are plugged into the motherboard. Every device you are using with computer system is plugged within the motherboard only. Fine. Here you can see the motherboard. Here are the different parts you can see on the motherboard, is the CPU fan connector. Here is the CPU fan. Here you can see the integrated audio coded chip. These are the parts just for your personal knowledge. Okay, if you wanted to explore these things, you can explore. If you are okay with watching the motherboard, that is the motherboard, that is also fine. Okay, but you should know what the motherboard exactly is, what it does. Okay, no need to study the every single detail or every single part of the motherboard. Fine, it is just up to, it depends upon you only, whatever you want to study about the motherboard. But everyone should know what the motherboard is, how does it function. Okay, now we're going to discuss about the operating system. So first, before discussing the operating system, we will discuss about the software. So what are the softwares? Softwares are the set of programs which are used to perform a particular task. Or softwares are the set of programs. There are two types of softwares. First are the system software, second are the application softwares. What are the system softwares? System softwares are the softwares which acts as the interface between the computer user and the hardware. I'm repeating again. System softwares are the softwares which acts as the interface between the computer user and the hardware. We cannot use the computer system without the system software. For example, operating system is an example of system software. Utility programs are there. Utility programs are also the example of software. So we will discuss the detail what is operating system and what are the utility programs. We'll discuss them in the detail. So what are the second part of the software? Second part of the software is application software. Application softwares are the softwares which are used to perform a particular task. Okay, for example, you wanted to do editing with the picture, then you need a editing software. You will install Photoshop or whatever you feel like, which suits you. Fine. If you wanted to create documents, you will install MS Word. Fine, you will use MS Word for that. If you wanted to make spreadsheets, you will use MS Excel for that. Fine. So here we'll start with the operating system. In addition to hardware, a computer needs software to function. In addition to hardware, a computer needs software to function. Software sends instructions to the hardware to perform the necessary task. What the software does? Software sends instructions to the hardware to perform the necessary task. The most important software on the computer is the operating system. The most important software on the computer is the operating system, which controls and manages the hardware connected to your computer. The operating system provides an interface that helps you to interact with the computer. The operating system provides an interface that helps you to interact with the computer. Fine. Here are some examples of operating system. Windows is there, Linux, Unix, Android is there. All the like Windows 7, Windows Vista, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows XP are the examples of operating system. A user interface can be either text based or graphics based. What do we mean by these two interfaces? The first operating system which was made was the DOS, disk operating system. What happened in the DOS? Whenever whatever you wanted to do in this particular operating system, if you wanted to open a file, then what you are required to do? You need to type a command for that. Okay, for simple function, for every kind of function you need to type a command for that. But today what we are doing, we are using GUI operating systems, which are graphic user interface operating systems, in which we have no need to type commands for such kind of basic functions. We can just click on that particular icon and we are able to open that particular file or folder. Fine. So most operating systems provide a graphical user interface which displays images, pictures that allows you to interact with the computer easily. Now the interaction with the computer is very easy. Okay, you can click on the particular file and folder and you are able to access that particular file or folder. Now I'll move to the next slide, which is programs and data. So what are the programs? Programs, also called applications, use this platform to perform tasks. There are many types of programs. Some programs allows you to perform tasks such as writing letters, doing calculations, or sending email messages. For example, a word processor. Such a Microsoft Word 2007 is a program that helps you to create letter. We have already discussed about the application software. So programs are generally, here we are discussing about the application software. Some programs allows you to perform a task such as writing letter. For these kind of tasks we need a application software. Which application software we are using right now? We are using MS Office Word 2007 for writing the letters or creating the documents. Other programs allows you to create illustrations, play games, watch movies, or communicate with the other computer user. Whatever work you wanted to do on the computer system, you can do. If you wanted to play game, you can install that particular game on your computer system, and whatever you feel like, you can do the same on the computer system with the help of programs or with the help of the application softwares. Fine. Now I'll move to the next topic. Next topic is the network. A group of computers and associated devices that are linked together to facilitate sharing information is called a network. A group of computers and associated devices that are linked together to facilitate sharing information is called a network. When two or more computers are connected with each other with the help of cable or any wireless media is called the network. Network can also be used to share data and devices such as printers. You can also communicate with each other computer users on the network. So they are discussing about, like, if you are connected to a network and there is a one system who is connected with the printer, then the other systems are also able to access that particular printer, because the whole system, all the systems are connected into a network. Fine. Or they can also communicate with each other. Fine, they can share their files, they can share their the soft copy of the files, they can do anything. When they are connected to a network, they can share number of things. Okay. Now here we have one example of network. Here you can see, here is a server. The server is connected to a printer, and there are the, here is a server. The server is connected to a printer here, and here are three systems who are connected to server. So what happened here is that this system can also access the printer. This system can also access the printer. Fine. Here is one workstation where four systems are there. They are aligned using ring topology. Okay, fine. Let's move to the another slide. A typical network has the following three components. A typical network has the following three components. What are these components? First one is the server. The main components on a network that provide services to other computers on a network. Server is the main computer on the network that provides services to the other computers on the network. A server decides which computers are to be allowed to access the hardware and the software on the network. Only the server decides that which computers are supposed to access the hardware and the software on the network, or which computers they need to provide the access of the particular thing. Only the server decides. Workstation, a computer connected to a network. You use a workstation to access the hardware and the software on a network. We'll discuss the workstation in more detail in the next slide. Communication channel, a path or link that connects computers or the peripheral devices such as printers and disk drives to transfer information. Cables are commonly used as communication channel in a network, but network can also transfer information through the wireless network. And the communication channel could be anything. In which way the your computer systems are connected with each other, that path is known as the communication channel. If they are connected with the help of wires, then the communication channel is the wired media. If your systems are connected wirelessly, like they are not connected with the wires, they are connected wirelessly, so the communication channel is the wireless media. Fine. Now I'll move to next slide. Here we'll discuss about the difference between the server and the workstation. So, generally, we'll start with the workstation. We'll start with the journal meaning of the workstation. Many of you are confused with the workstation. Many of you were asking doubts on the workstation. So, I'll explain here the workstation in great detail. What is the journal English meaning of workstation? The journal English meaning of workstation says that the desk and computer that a person works at, one computer that is a part of network. The desk and a computer that a person works at, and that computer is also connected to a network, that a place is known as the workstation. This is the journal meaning. Now we'll discuss about the technical meaning of the workstation. Workstation is a special computer designed for technical or scientific applications. I'm repeating again. Workstation is a special computer designed for technical or scientific applications, intended primarily to be used by one person at a time. They are commonly connected to a local area network and run multi-user operating system. Fine. Workstations offer higher performance than personal computers, especially with respect to CPU and graphics, memory capacity, and multitasking capacity. I'm repeating again. Workstations offer higher performance than mainstream personal computers, especially with respect to CPU and graphics, memory capacity, and multitasking capacity. Or we can also say that a workstation is a computer intended for individual use that is faster and more capable than a personal computer. I'm repeating again. A workstation is a computer intended for individual use that is faster and more capable than a personal computer. It is intended for business or personal use rather than home or personal use. Fine. Now we'll discuss about the server and the workstation difference. What the server is? A server is an application or a device that perform services for connected clients as part of client server architecture. A server who provides services to the client is as per the client server architecture is known as the server. What is the workstation? A computer that is used to power applications such as graphic card, 3D designs, video editing, or other CPU RAM intensive softwares. Okay, the computers which are used for these kind of services like 3D designings, video editing. Fine. And the functions of functional area of the server is internet, office, education, home network. And the functional area of workstation is business, design, engineering, multimedia, and production. I hope it is clear to you. Fine. Let's move to the another slide. Here is the next slide is the internet. The internet is a worldwide collection of public networks. The internet is a worldwide collection of public networks. They are linked to each other for information exchange. They are linked to each other for information exchange. The internet started a network. The internet started a network to facilitate communication between government and educational departments in the US. Initially, how the internet formed, they have just started a network to facilitate the communication between the government and the educational departments in the US only. When the other network were connected to this network, it became a very vast medium for exchanging information and ideas. Today, the internet connects many commercial, government, and educational networks as well as individual computers which share data. I hope it is clear to all. Now we'll move to the next topic, intranet. There is a big difference between internet and intranet. Okay, many organizations use a special type of network to communicate and share information within the organization. Such a network is called an intranet. An intranet is similar to the www, but it is accessible only to authorized users of the organization. An intranet is much smaller than the internet and can provide services such as document distribution, software distribution, access to databases, and training. Fine. Intranets are what? They are kind of softwares which are designed for one particular organization. For example, on every system there is one software installed in that particular organization. On that particular software they can send their files, they can share their data, they can share anything over there. Fine. The data, the all systems are connected to each other of that particular organization, so that small network is known as the intranet. Fine. Now we'll move to the next slide, which is the difference between internet and the internet. Here you can see in this picture, here is network 1, network 2, network 3, network 4 and network 5. When these all networks are connected with each other, they form internet. But an organization's personal network is known as the intranet. Fine. It is the organization's network only. I hope it is clear to you all. Thank you so much, everyone.